another episode of Blue Crab Media. And man, listen, I just want to start out by saying how much love y'all have given episode 1. If you have not seen episode 1, what are you doing? Listen, man, shout out to everybody that pulled up and is giving us the feedback that we needed. Before we get into today's podcast, we wanted to take 5 seconds to just tell y'all thank you for the support. And now we're back for episode 2.
I like to say I appreciate all my digital crabs out there that was following. Come join us in the bucket where good things happen. But most crabs trying to get out the bucket. Most people want to get in the bucket.
Yeah, having crabs is not bad. Not these crabs.
Old Bay or Tony's, which one you take?
Oh, man, look, before we start, my name is Aloysius Ballard, and I am happy to be here, help hosting this podcast. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Once again, Winston Caesar here, a.k.a. Black Caesar, for those who know me, Black Caesar. For those who don't, Winston.
Yeah, man. And your nickname really polled highly amongst podcast listeners and watchers. They like that Black Caesar, don't they?
They love it. They love it. Most people, they say, how did you come up with the name Black Caesar?
Yeah.
I said, well, I went, actually a buddy of mine, a Caucasian fella, was like, weren't that many people in our school. Of course, you went to the same school, a little older than me. And he was like, hey, man, hey, black Asian cat too. You know, most Asians call you by the skin tone, but ain't nothing wrong with that. So he was, I'm going to call you Black Caesar.
Yeah.
And most people that ask me, I said, well, I'm black and my last name's Caesar, so you just put the two together.
There we go. You know. Now, Winston, man, listen, we had an incredible weekend here on the coast. We're going to talk about some stuff today, man. And one of the things that happened was Cannabis Fest. We were down on the Biloxi Town Green. I worked the event. Got to talk to a lot of people in the cannabis business, CBD, THC, and I got to tell you, beautiful event. Shout out to the founders who put that on. It was a great event. Great turnout. But there were a lot of topics that people wanted to come learn about. One, I think probably the biggest thing that people were wanting to know, one was, can you smoke dope out here? So people really they were pretty disappointed that they couldn't just blow their...
Yeah. It was an open engagement as they was looking for, huh?
Yeah, but you know what? It made me curious because a lady asked me, she said, it all smells the same. What makes this stuff legal to smoke out here versus the other stuff? Give me a little explanation. What would you say?
What is the other stuff?
So I guess she was saying she saw people smoking CBD or like Delta 8 or whatever the case was. What is the difference between that and like getting it from your homeboy and half baked where you firing up the other stuff?
Point 3. But as far as how they differentiating which is which,
or like I guess in plain terms, like how do you tell? Because if you follow your nose, it all
smells. It blends together. I got you. I guess who got the loudest smell? You're like that's 100% gas right there. Some Zy or some loud, or whatever they want to use. But nah, what it is that people that smoking hemp and everything else, they're looking for it as an alternative because they didn't have access to medical marijuana. And so, what separates hemp from marijuana, I knew nothing about it when I got into it. If you told me what a hemp plant was, or tell me anything about a marijuana plant, I'd be like THC. I ain't know anything about cannabinoids or terps or things like that. So, point 3 is what makes hemp legal, and over that makes it illegal and turns it into marijuana by definition.
So now let's find out, because some people, a lot of people are traveling more, different things. Are there states that you know of where you can just freely smoke whatever dope you want?
Oh yeah, Oregon, California, but no, Seattle, I believe. They trying to do it, but that's controversial because, they talking about people, shooting heroin on the bus right now and everything else. I think that's extreme. I think it's I think that's a little more boisterous. And, you got some libertarians out there, some people that do believe like it's my body, it's their decision, but it's impedance as well. If you impede upon someone's privacy or
God.
like the others, this is kind of like having an orgy on the beach on a Saturday at 2:00 in the evening. And you're like, well, it's our body.
Yeah.
You got kids out here, big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't think we're going to have heroin in Mississippi
Not legally. It's here, but it ain't legal.
Yeah, it ain't going to be legal. But I guess, the reason I ask is because some of the people, not everybody that attended Cannabis Fest wasn't a supporter of it. Some people were advocating that hemp or CBD or even just full-blown marijuana is something that's a detriment to our community.
They don't have that same energy for alcohol, for narcotics, for prescription medicine. So when you do that, I like for people to expound upon their beliefs and then say, why do you believe that? Because what's going to happen is they're going to give you third-party information that influence them. They're going to, it's all going to be the same talking points that you hear. And not too many people are going to independently be able to articulate themselves to get their point across to why they might not want it or care too much for it.
Now, I was filming, and during filming, I had some people who came to me quickly and was like, hey, please don't film me. I don't want to be seen purchasing, these products. But I said, well, why purchase them? And they talked about how, well, I have this injury here, but, it helps aid me in different things. And I found something out that I felt was really cool. Now, I have asthma. And I found out that they make CBD inhalers.
Yes.
That are actually better than the stuff I'm taking.
Yeah. I forgot the name of it, but yeah.
Like, I take albuterol.
Albuterol, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. But, there was, and it wasn't one. It was multiple people were like, oh, no, man, you got to switch to this. So,
marijuana works on a CB1 receptor, which is nervous, and then CB2 receptor, which is respiratory, immune. And just to keep it short, essentially, that's what they use it to test it in long COVID patients and showing that people that actually had a history of smoking marijuana recovered faster than someone that didn't do it. And so, yes, so they're actually looking at advancements as far as the benefits of how, pertaining to COVID and different other, COVID vaccine, COVID viruses.
Yeah, so now that's interesting because when you think of someone with asthma, the last thing you would encourage them to do is inhale something. You know what I mean?
So you're looking at compared to smoking is creating combustible. Yeah. So ash and thinking of words combustible compared to putting it in a form of being inhaled through a mechanism such as an inhaler.
Yeah.
Which understand what's happening. So one is being heated up at a certain degree and can have, people say all the time, anything heated up and you're inhaling it's bad for you, no matter if it's good. Yeah. So looking at that and looking at the different, that's what we talked about last episode, the different mechanisms. So in an inhaler, being able to separate and isolate those compounds and actually put them in a form in which you can digest it in different manners, so like a sublingual, like a patch, for say like a strip that goes underneath your tongue, a topical, things like that. The fastest way to actually get this medicine in you is by inhalation because your lungs has one of the biggest areas as far as being covered. I know I'm not being technical right now.
No, but it makes it applicable to people who don't have all that medical background. So I like it that you're explaining this way. The more I talk and the more I'm around this, I'm understanding that there are so many advantages to this plant that we hadn't been educated on. Why do you think that is? Why aren't we talking about this in school? I know there are drugs you need to stay away from, but this is a natural remedy.
Well, let's talk about the history of drugs. The Coca-Cola got its name from because they used to put Coke in there. Actually, ecstasy was actually made for cancer patients. Different things. So the history of drugs, when you actually look into it, and everything else, numbing agents. So like tribes along Amazon and everything else in Colombia, what they say when they working and they had an injury, they would nibble on it and everything else and use it as a numbing agent. So when we understand looking at cannabis, Henry Ford actually made one of his model cars at the hemp, 100% hemp, indestructible, very light. You know, you gotta ask yourself, how long does it take to grow a tree compared to be going to grow hemp? You know, you can grow hemp in 6 months compared to growing a tree. So looking back into the holistic aspect of it and getting down to the crux of it, we can go back in history to kind of get answers to what happened and why they happened the way they happened.
I like that. Another thing that I learned was about how hemp is also being used in construction matter. I love that you used the Henry Ford reference because they said now you can create bricks, you could create structures.
Yes.
Yeah, so is that an area we should be focusing on as well?
It's a huge area.
Especially in our area with hurricanes.
Yes. So what happens is this plant actually can be used for medicinal and for industrial. And when you look into it, it's very multifunctional. Going into like Nike about 2 years ago just made some Nikes out of hemp, 100% hemp. I had some Adidas made out of hemp. I didn't know what hemp was when I bought them. I just like the shoe. So looking into it and everybody looking at being carbon neutral, you know, zero carbon. How do we impact our environment as we should? Because we want to be here for a long time. We want our kids to be here for a long time. So understanding that, I think we're going to have a green industrial revolution that's about to come back to the forefront. Also with green prohibition, I think they will go hand in hand together with this plant and its fraternal twin that I call hemp.
I like that, fraternal twin. You know, and I think it's the inevitable, man. When you look at mental health in our culture, when you look at the status of how much people are being depressed because of just life in general, people are looking for a way to manage that where they don't have to feel loopy, hungover. As you said earlier, we never talk about alcohol. Alcohol affects probably more people than smoking CBD or hemp or whatever you would say. Why do you think alcohol gets a pass?
Well, you got to think about it. Go back to history when, you know, you had the mafia bootlegging and moonshiner, right? And that was you know, that was a war back then when you talk about your Capones and, you know, most notorious ones.
Yeah.
Moonshiner was, you know, you hear moonshiners now, we just think like, oh, moonshiners, like it's passive to us, but it was some real live action, especially right here in our backyard with, you know, you had the Dixie Mafia and everything else. You had different organizations. So looking at that, like now it's acceptable, but don't even go that far back. Let's go back to casinos. You know, to get the casinos to come here, people was up in an uproar. Now everybody goes in on a Sunday, go eat a buffet and put $50 in the machine and praise Jesus that they hit. So now we don't think nothing about it, but we so far removed from, you know, the boycotts that people did when it came to prohibition, when it came to, you know, Biloxi getting casino gambling here, right? Let's go with the lottery. Everybody was against the lottery because it was going to impact negatively the casinos. And the casinos are thriving, the lottery's thriving, I mean, the state's thriving off the lottery.
Yeah.
So once people see how it actually it rolls out, and the more, you know, more lax that, you know, more not lax, but the more time gives us to adjust and acclimate ourselves with the program, it becomes more acceptable. Acceptable, not susceptible.
No, and I'm glad you brought that. Let's pivot a little bit because, you know, we talk a lot about, you know, hemp and cannabis, and that's great. But one of the things that we want to establish on this platform is Mississippi as a whole. Mm-hmm. You mentioned about the lottery coming in and some of the stigma and concerns people had before, but now we see they're very much in harmony. I was looking at Sal and Mookie's, which is now closed.
Yep.
Is being bought out, right? And I was thinking, why haven't we passed land-based gambling yet?
Oh, well, it has. So when you ask yourself, you got to look at this, right? And it's different regulations that go into so you know, you only have so many licenses that are allocated too. So it's not like everybody can go down there and you can just have a Reno or Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Atlantic City, right? So Harris is on land. The Nugget, I believe, is on
Scarlet
land.
Pearl.
Scarlet Pearl's on land. Yeah.
But I guess when I mean land based, like let's say if someone turns Sal and Mookie's into a sports pub where you could go in and there's some gaming machines.
Oh no,
in
you
there.
messing with money. You ain't doing that. No, they ain't gonna do that. No.
Isn't it inevitable?
No.
Why?
So Louisiana has more so like truck stop casinos is what you're talking about and everything else. That's off the beaten path.
Vegas?
Yeah, but too, Vegas, you gotta look at too, its market is really dwindling. Our market is thriving. People don't really know that. You know, as far as on a casino tip, we're thriving big throughout the nation. People are looking to move here. They love to come here. When COVID shut down, that was horrible in its own matter, but it was a silver lining for a lot of people. And when people came in, because this is one thing to tell you, that even through COVID, I still want to be able to shoot them dice. You know, who opened?
Yeah.
Oh, they opened in Biloxi? They said, well, I guess we're going to ride down there through them backwoods. And then they pull up on these lights. They say, oh, this ain't what we thought it was.
So I just play around with scenarios. You don't think like, let's say in the same scenario, I'd talk, somebody buys the building of Sal and Mookie's. Mm-hmm. But my gaming machines are leased by MGM or the Beau Rivage or...
That's not nothing to do with them.
Hard Rock.
This is regulatory body. It's the state level. The state is the one that grants the license.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not... The MGM needs a license to come in here. Hard Rock needed a license to come in here. It's a governing body. It's Gaming Commission.
So then if they're the ones, it's the same thing. Is it not? Like, how is it? Help me out. Like, I'm really trying to understand why it can't happen.
You looking at...
Because like even in the airports, you could get I hit leaving Vegas one year. I was working, and in the airport right before I got on my flight.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you a question.
It's just good.
So essentially, you have people that have been established for 30 years as a gambler. I think gambling been doing 30 years. I was an itty bitty boy.
Yeah.
That's paid their dues.
It was the Isle of Capri back when I was
Lady Luck.
Yeah, Lady Luck.
Yeah, you had Biloxi Bell.
What was the one?
President.
Magic, Casino Magic.
Yeah, it was right there. Yeah,
all
Casino
of those
Magic right there.
Yeah.
The Grand was on the other end. Everything else, right? So just in turn, just keep it real simple. So you come in, you've established yourself. You paid your dues. You paid with the state. Essentially, you're gonna open the whole market up for everybody.
Oh, I get you. So if you oversaturate it, then
And then another thing too, that was another concern was that we don't want casinos everywhere. If you, I don't know if you remember, we had shrimp factories everywhere.
I do. You used to get on the bridge and smell like seafood.
So you had to own a shrimp factory or land a shrimp factory to even be before you can get access to a license.
Yeah.
So that's basically was like a exchange.
Yeah, trade off.
So that's the thing about it is that it's, it was a lot of barriers put up, safety falls, so like we don't oversaturate the market. It doesn't get out of hand.
Yeah. Well, I just know the coast is changing, it's developing. When you look at the Coliseum and what they're doing, which is another aspect I feel of our area that we need to really update. I know we have the convention center, but when we really look at bringing in shows or major events, the Coliseum really needs a lot of work. A lot of the stuff in there from a production standpoint, that's my field. You go in there, you can't do certain things just based on how outdated that system is. And I think they said it'll be almost $1 billion just to update that facility.
I'm gonna ask you a question. If it on the surface level, if it ain't broke, are you gonna fix it?
Well, is it really generating funds like that?
The thing about it all depends. I'm not in a pockets, but we look at it from a standpoint of what we can bring in entertainment and reinvigorating the coast. That I remember we used to have shows all the time coming through here at the Coliseum.
WWE used to come through, man. Come on, man.
Batista big. I think that it's that will happen. That we went up to Brandon and had the amphitheater is lovely.
Is it?
Oh man, the amphitheater, how they built that is it was very, very, very intelligent.
And that's
Very
in
nice
Brandon.
one. That's in Brandon. Amphitheater.
Check that out.
Yes.
Shout out to Mississippi.
You know, Brandon, Mississippi. Yeah, I need that plug. But no, so I think that, you know, we, like I said, we're in works to be able to bring venues of that magnitude. You know, it behoove us to look into store, not just do casinos, but actually bring in resorts, destination resorts and everything else. So, like I said, it's expanding. You know, my biggest concern, like anybody else, with expansion comes, you know, a lot more, you know, susceptibility. Now I found that word. I just wanted to use it. Plugged it in, right? So susceptible to like crime. You know, you're like, oh well, you know, with bigger things come more crime comes, more problems. But I think we have some of the best law enforcement in the country in Biloxi Police Department, Gulfport. And I know they get, you know, I know that we have our issues and everything else, but when they come through and through, one thing you want to do is feel protected.
Now, you said in episode 1, we're going to keep it transparent.
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about recent events. There was a shooting during Black Spring Break. I mentioned to you that I spoke to an officer. I'm not going to say when or where to, you know, I believe in protecting conversations. But I was quick to say I think they should shut it down because for the last few times they've been here, there's been a lot of things that shouldn't be going on. And I mentioned to you that the officer said he didn't feel that way, but that things should be held in accountability, that it needs to be a little more organized, and 2, that if they're going to have the event, we need to bring in extra manpower because the coast as a whole just doesn't have enough manpower for that many bodies.
So let's talk about that because I think I have a resolution to that. First, it was known at Black Spring Break the first year. I was in like 10th grade.
Yeah, you were young.
I was young out there. You know what I mean? Shout out to Coach Cosby for me going to Black Spring Break and not going to state powerlifting.
shout out to Dukes with his you remember Dukes had his Capri? He had his Caprice. Yeah.
Had that top down. Had the windows down.
Man.
But no. So then they went away from that and they called it Spring Break, but it's going to be forever known as Black Spring Break.
Yes.
And so when people hear that, they, you know, first thing, we can't have a white spring break. We can't have it's, you know, history kind of, you know, not in your favor when it comes to, you know, the whys. But, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
So as far as getting back to what, it's supposed to be is spring break. So then I looked at it and I started looking at it. My first knee-jerk reaction was, man, let's shut it down. You had one false claim, and then you had an actual event, and they both got mashed together. And you like, look what's going on in this small time. So you had probably about 80,000 people here, right?
Yeah.
You had, majority supposed to be kids. There's some grown people out there that shouldn't be out there. Let it go. Let it go.
You weird. them kids out there, man.
Yeah.
Get to the house.
Predatorial. So this is the situation, how I see it. I think that instead of calling it spring break, it's going to happen. No matter if it's organized or if they show up, because it's at the end of the day, it's a public beach, it's public streets. I think getting promoters to come in, I have multiple ways. I'm not going to give you all my business because I got some plans.
Tell them call you.
Because I got some stuff putting together. But being able to get the promoters there with the financial backing, and no matter who it is, and bring in what type of entertainment we want to bring in. That's a lot of thing that's inviting. They have like Morgan Wallen that came to Oxford, Mississippi.
Yeah.
You're gonna think that's a white event. Ain't too many blacks going up there.
I listen to Morgan, man.
I like Morgan. I got a mashup too, cause that's cold blooded. I got another guy, DJ Rose. I don't even know the guy, but I watch him on TikTok. Check him out. But when you look at that event, that's imagery saying that that's an all white event. That's an all black event, right? And we start to segregate ourselves from being able to just to embrace each other on a cultural level.
Yeah.
And we limit ourselves, cut ourselves off at the knees. I think that coming in as a promoter, saying that we're gonna hire our private security. So I got a lot of buddies. Tractor Robertson, shout out to him, private security. Jordan Champagne. I need that plug.
Invoices in the mail.
In the mail. But they do private security, armed security. Mm-hmm. And for a small fraction of what these people will bring in, is nothing compared to the safety that people feel. Because trust me, the people that come to spring break not looking for that craziness. They not looking at I might be shot, I might not be shot. No, they looking to have big time. Everybody mad because they twerking and they everything else. Somebody said something that I was like, you know what? Checkmate. They said you ain't mad when Girls Gone Wild was doing on their tours and they had their stuff out. And I'm not condoning it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we all been at that age where we chasing. We from our perspective, where we sit, we're chasing these women. We like, ooh, they got on apple bottoms. That's how we is. They got them apple bottoms on. You know what I'm saying? They got those baby fats on.
Yeah.
You know, we looking at that. We older now. We're like, oh.
Yeah,
Freaknik coming out. Freaknik putting a lot of these people that's talking, double tongue, putting them on blast.
Yeah.
But I think that city needs to work with actually find, promotions and things like that that's looking to do things that actually been coming in, bringing in talent, and coordinate with them accordingly to help Biloxi and Gulfport PD and have private security that can, people say, got people that work clubs. You got people, private security that work clubs and everything else. So people that are professional. And everybody say, well, that's going to inflate the situation. It's not. Yeah. It's not. If you sit here and you have enough people that can hold you accountable, you're gonna have some knuckleheads. But you have people that can rush to safety and do that, and they did a great job doing that. They shutting it down. They shut this thing down like my boy Chadwick Boseman on 21 Bridges.
Yeah,
this
man.
thing locked down.
Boy, I was coming home from New Orleans, man. You could not get into Biloxi. Once you passed 49, I was like, what is going on? Mm-hmm. There was a fire truck or a record truck or a cop, like 4 or 5 cop cars at every exit. You weren't going nowhere.
You got to understand, too, when people in the mindset, if I think you're going to do some foolishness, you got some people that's up for the foolishness. I'm not up for the foolishness. I look, come down here, have your time. I don't like Mardi Gras. I don't like cruising. I don't like scraping. I don't like spring break, black spring break, Asian spring break.
How you champion Mississippi? You don't like none of the stuff we got going on, man.
I don't like crowds. I don't like traffic.
Well, say you gotta say it like that.
So that's the thing. Okay, I respect that. I'm not a big fan of the traffic in the crowds. Yes. That's just me. Not and everybody else, but I'm one person. So
I don't like the crowds and the traffic either.
But I understand, and people say we won't see no money off of it, but they shut their businesses, and they stay on right to shut their businesses if they own it. But at the same time, you look at what these food trucks made, these vendors made, and everything else. So you have one bad apple in a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And but that's the thing. Imagery is huge. Though. We gotta address that. We gotta address that when group of people get together. Are we comfortable around them or are we not comfortable around them? I'm not going to lie. Looking at just history and interaction, 5 white guys and 5 black guys, 5 white guys walking in New Orleans compared to 5 black guys in New Orleans. I'm looking at what the numbers say, what the news say every day, and that calls a play for prejudice. Racism and prejudice, 2 different things. Most people don't understand that. Prejudice, we all have prejudice.
Yeah.
And I'm not condoning ignorance. You have people that make ignorant racist comments that had merit because of ignorant behavior and dumb behavior. Right. And at the end of the day, yes, them people are who they are. But at the same time, look at it and segment it and say what actually transpired. It was an inconvenience. Oh, they doing this, they doing that. Yeah, it was some indecent exposure, but once again, that happens. Yeah. When you was going to Panama and Mexico, as a child, a teenager that you were, you was like, I'm spending my money. They lucky I'm down here. Same mentality, So looking at that and saying, let's work together for any event that come down here. Let's make it the best event when these people come down here that they've ever been to. They want to come back.
I agree. I like that. I really like a lot of the points that you made because, when you look at the overall scope of it, we as a coast still need that business. There was a lot of things that needed to be corrected. And one of the things the officer said was that they've realized now that a lot of the problems that are here are from people from major cities. Mm-hmm. And they're in gangs, and they come here for the opportunity to capitalize on a small town USA because they operate different in cities than we do here. But then I look at the same notion of if you take those 80,000 people and that money goes elsewhere, that's a substantial amount of dollars that business can't grow. They may not be able to get that new equipment that they, you know what I mean? So I think he really convinced me, you have convinced me that it doesn't need, our solution to things shouldn't be to just wipe it off the board.
No.
It's to really sit down between the end of an event and between the next time y'all launch it and figure out how do we make this the best situation. Because I want to pivot a little bit.
Go ahead.
Cruising the Coast was just awarded the #1 car show in America.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations to us
Congratulations to the SIP.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
On that.
I like my beat down. Put a dunk out there.
But that's a big thing because Jay Leno was just here.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting some real car enthusiasts in this area. And I want to take it another step to say, how do we elevate that? How do we make that remain our award for the next 5 to 10 years or longer?
Well, I think, like I said, once people get a taste of the SIP, when they get a sip of the SIP, like they play, don't you? I
like that.
You know, get a sip of the SIP. So what happens is
trademark pending.
Trademark that, hey. So you heard it here first.
Yeah.
So what happens is they like, I love it. Everybody, like, it's retired. We know it as the retirement community because, you know, the cost of living is very cheap. The food is great. It's, you know, it's a little paradise, what people call it. Well, two, you know, that's great for the market as far as casino market, because who's the one, what age demographic is spending money? But then we're looking at here and we're saying, you know, are our kids leaving? You know, a lot of our kids are actually leaving, you know, going to Atlanta and going to big cities because they don't feel like it's opportunity here, or they feel like it's stale or slow. So I remember we had some great nightlife, man. The Boulevard, Studio 90, Complex, Barracudas, Z Club.
Boy, shout out to Barracudas.
Bombay Bicycle Club.
Now, Bombay was my spot, man.
Mustang Salad.
Yeah,
you
Cadillac.
Know what I'm saying?
Boy, it was whatever your palate.
You had it.
It was something.
You had it. You had a mixture of everything. Everybody got along. You know, we didn't have to worry about really shooting because, you know, we high on testosterone. You know, we up there. Something pop off is gonna pop off.
Yeah. And then everybody here knows it. It's not hard to know somebody from the coast.
Yeah.
Somebody in that room knows you.
Well, what happens is, you know, the dynamic is so interesting because when you used to go to the club back in the day, you know, you had a congregation of, you know, groups and everything, Asians with Asians. Yeah. You know, they pop locking and breaking. You know, your boy used to do a little turbo.
Yeah.
You know, big turbo now, but no. So you go in, everybody had a good time. We came up on crunk music.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about drill music and anything else. So when I hit 25, I got old quick.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? The music went no R&B.
Yeah.
Wasn't no saying no music that's happy. Nothing out here is to be happy anymore.
Yeah.
You go into the pub, shout out to my boy Big D, pub right there. I need that plug.
Yeah. And what's in the mail.
You know, down there. Back good as gold. But when you go in there, you like, man, I like to dance, man. I wear loafers and, you know, your boy wear pastels. Yeah. You know, pastels on this chocolate.
Hey, man.
You know, like Easter all the time.
Yeah, black season.
Black season. This thing was sliding gliding. But we like, let's have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, we had some great R&B groups. Like, think about it. Like, our parents' age group, it just crossed over.
Yeah.
Doo-wop. You know, Frankie Lionel.
Or things that made you appreciate life and looking forward to the future.
But that's the thing. It had to. Now it's angry. Oh, I'm soft. So you know, I'm saying I stopped going out a long time ago. And like I said, I like to support, especially my partners that support me and everything else. And he was like, "Why don't you stay in the club long?" I said, "Man, I can't do crowds." I said, "You know, I don't care for craziness." And I had a couple of incidents and. You know, just because I smile all the time, you know, you think you're soft and everything else. And I was just like, nah, that's not for me. So I've yet to find, you know, a place that kind of fits my age demographic that say, like, when we go out, you know, we old enough to understand that this is great music, but we young enough to get on the floor and cut a rug, you know?
Yeah. You got to hang out at Ground Zero or something, man. Get to the blues
man,
scene.
Well, you know I'm a cougar chaser. You know I'm out there.
You know what? Speaking of nightlife, I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite spots that I've had. I don't go out much, but when I do, right across from Ground Zero they do karaoke.
Yeah, in the green.
What's the name of the spot on the corner?
I'm talking about the town green, ain't it?
Yeah.
Greenhouse? The greenhouse is it the
Sandbar?
Sandbar. Oh yeah.
Sandbar.
Sandbar, yeah, they back in now. That was another one of them spots, yeah.
Sandbar is a place I like to.
Yeah, check him out. You know, hey, we don't know his name, but check him out, Sandbar.
Now, they wings are great.
Yeah, they had a nice burger, though.
Yeah.
See, my homeboy used to own it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this while we're here. Let's pivot again. So, you know, we getting close to wrapping. Where's who has the best nightlife food for you? Like, if you want.
Well, your boy go to bed at 8. So when I was out there,
I'm just saying, like, I know Adventures have great burgers.
So nightlife
and
food,
wings.
If you don't mean Waffle House is a staple for us.
Yeah,
but if you go outside
of Waffle
House, you don't never put number one up there. From when I was out there in them streets.
Yeah, or just
you know
out and about, man.
Ocean Springs Mosaics got some good nights.
Mosaics, shout out to Mosaics.
Like I said, Sandbar,
what's your favorite thing in Mosaics?
I get the quesadilla.
That quesadilla is good, but I love their
lumpia.
Their lumpia? Oh, man.
Who making
I don't care. I don't even know. It's fire. When I tell you it's fire.
Oh, is it?
It's yeah, we're going to have to go. Y'all let us know where y'all want us. We're going to take the pod on the road. And we're going to go find some.
We're going to sip the sip.
Yeah, we're going to sip the sip. So if you have a business and you want us to pull up on you, leave something in the comments below. Tag us in something, man. Let us know. I know we both trying to be little versions of ourselves, but we still got to eat.
So I'm going to say this, right? So I've been moved, I've been shaking. I got some homeboys that's some great whites, man. They give you a hard time. But I'm the best one in the group as far as throwing shade.
Yeah.
But they've been killing me. And one thing about buddies, you know, they got a way of telling you, you know, the way of like, hey, it's time for you to do something with your life, big dog. So I got a great supporting cast. If you don't know, Richard Hawthorne.
Shout out to Richard.
Core Strong, pound for pound, world champion. Actually, you know, grew up together. And we about to get back on it. Shout out to Chad Radish with Cricket Ladder.
What up with Chad? What's up, Chad?
I'm going to swing on it when I see him. You know,
nah, you can't swing on Chad,
that's my dog, man. But, you know, I did CrossFit before he did CrossFit. Anyway, but no, they doing good, though. And like I said, you know, that's a big thing we want to push because all the stigmatism black. You know, I was born with high pressure and diabetes, you know, just by being black. No, that's horrible. But no, so like, you know, a lot of stuff we about to showcase, and we gonna undress a lot of things with our eyes and show you some transparency, some vulnerability as well. And hopefully we can help other people that come out their shell and say, how do I get started? If it's business, if it's fitness, if it's just, you know, a social life or whatever. And, you know, basically from our opinion and our perspective, it's not saying it's the right way to do it or the wrong way to do it, but, you know, crack that shell and get at it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I love that. I'm excited about where we're going with this Blue Crab Media, man, and the things that we have planned. Matter of fact, you know, do you fish?
Man, you know what? My partners fish. My family fish, man. I don't even eat fish.
I'm not even gonna touch that bro. We live on a coast.
I'm allergic to seafood.
I
don't eat grits either.
Oh, come on, man. What?
No, I don't eat grits. I don't like the texture. I took a lot of whoopings as a child, man.
Winston, what the heck, bro?
I like what I like. So I'm gonna tell you like this. So back in the day, so this is how broke. I ain't gonna say broke, but this is
no. So your food excuse got something to do. Come on, man.
So I used to think I ain't gonna say broke, but we was on the same playing field as others when you had to take food stamps out the book.
Yeah,
you know, we had to tear them out. Hit them big face brown 20s, fives, and everything else. So I thought beets was sweet. So I would eat beets because I wanted something sweet all the time.
Yeah.
Not knowing my nitrous oxide and the circulatory system was great.
Yeah.
And so he was like, he loved beets because like my mama had a rule. If you want sweet tea,
Yeah.
you got to drink your milk.
Yeah.
So I got a little brother, bigger than me. So I got smart, you know. I used to drink his tea, swap my bottle, let him drink my milk, swap it back, and
Yeah.
get my tea double whammy. He ain't know no better.
Boy. Okay, man. What we gonna do with this dude, man?
He ain't gonna do nothing.
Hey, man. Look. So we got some things coming up. We're working on bringing you guys more of this content, but we need more feedback from y'all. We want to know what y'all want to see from us here at Blue Crab Media. We got some things in the work. Winston is working very hard with the team, and a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes. We can't share with them just yet.
No, we gonna keep it on the low, you know, because realistically, we got some positive, some great feedback. And I got some haters out there too.
Well, everybody do though.
You know, they do, but I'm very, you know, I'm very peculiar about like not putting it out there in the universe until, you know, it's out there in your face. You know, people like, where you been? And then they see it, you know, and like, hey, let me send you a friend request even though I unfriended you because of your political views. I'm like, yeah, here you go, purgatory. I'm gonna leave you here.
Let you sit there for a minute.
You know, like, they see me in public, they're like, you think I'm just gonna whoop you? Nah, man, that's not how I get down. Like I said, I love to interact with people, and so do Lo. We want to be able to showcase your business. We want to be able to generate more revenue for you to be able to thrive. It's hard being a business owner, yet alone a small business owner.
Yeah.
And like I said, if we sit here and we can come in and support each other, shout out to my boy, Ladarius. He got his clothing line going on, Change the Culture line. Then he had Black Role Models. So he always doing his stuff. He been consistent at what he doing, and he believes in himself. So, you know, that's things like that. We can make someone a millionaire if we just change the way we think. We can make them $100,000 to $200,000 a year if we change the way we think about our own people. When I say own people, I mean the people within this state, the people that we need to live and work with in close proximity.
Hey, I tell you what, I love that, and I love that you're shouting out these businesses. I think something that could be cool for us to do is to show up at this next first Friday, Biloxi,
and do a live podcast.
Yeah,
hey.
we gonna try to make that happen. There's one coming up.
Okay.
So I think it could be cool for us.
Well, I'm there. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah. So you know, we may be seeing you in the place, so you may want to show up. Normally, right now they moved it to by the Shucker Stadium under the overpass rather. And what is it? Fly Llama Brewing?
Flying Llama.
Yeah, Flying Llama. It's right there in there. On that same
Bond
block.
Street, something like that,
Yeah. So I think it'd be cool, like maybe we can get us some little handheld mics where we can walk around and talk to vendors and just people in general.
I'm gonna wear my hoodie and spook the hell out of white women.
I think that's where we're going to leave it right there. But you may see us out and about, Blue Crab Media, man, in public, making a public showing. What a great way to grow an audience, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, if you see us there, don't be afraid to show up and just say hey, and maybe we'll put you on the podcast, man. So you got anything else before we get out of here?
Man, like I said, do and conquer whatever you want to conquer. And when people get on your nerves, give them the middle finger and go on about your life.
There you have it, man. Until next time, we'll catch you in the next one.
Y'all have a good night.